This episode was brought to you by the number 42. Hello everybody, welcome back. My name is John Fillmore and welcome to another episode of the Pokemon Analyst. Alright, so this last month or so, we've been working on some weather teams, sandstorm, sunshine, rain, snow, hail, things like that. And like I said last time, which was Friday, I was going to take it a little bit slow, so that's why this one is coming out on Tuesday and not Monday. And also, I'm going to go back to my original team, right? The original team. The team we started out with, it's the Mega Gardevoir team. And we're going to analyze the heck out of it, right? Because I gave you a whole bunch of ideas that you could probably use on this, right? But now we're going to take a step back, and we're going to focus on one team for a while, at least for like another month or something, or maybe a little less, but at least a pretty long time, so that we can actually, try to get all the little details out of there, right? Now, you might be thinking a month is quite long, but since I'm going to be starting my minor next week, I can't pump out as many videos as I have been, so I will at least be doing one video every week, but unfortunately it won't be as frequent as usual, so it needs to be a little bit, it's not going to be that long, it's only going to be like 4 or 5, 6 episodes or something like that, that are kind of dedicated to this guy. And after that, we're probably going to be doing something like a fall team, right? Because fall always is coming this way, It's not going to be a Halloween team because I'm going to make a special edition Halloween team when Halloween does come around. But, just make a nice little fall team and be like, okay, let's see what we can do with this, right? So, but that is all in the future. Let's focus on the present, right? So let's go to Team Builder. This is the team that we had. If you want to see how I built that, that's in episode 1 through 4, right? And if you want a little bit of a quick look at it, just go to episode 4. That's where I complete it. And episode 5 through 9 are where I actually battle with it a little bit, right? So this is that. I've been kind of jogging some ideas around, but we'll see what happens, right? But first things first. Let's go to Team Magma Team Builder, right? Now, I put everything that I could into the Team Builder, right? That includes ability, that includes moves, that includes all that fun stuff, and this is what kind of comes out, right? Now, I'm going to pull up a picture, because it might be a little bit easier. See, the pictures are the same, so this is not my own image that I made, no copyright or anything intended. It's just, I made a screenshot, right? So this is then, what it looks like. So let's take a little bit of a look at that. We got a couple of weaknesses against fighting, so that's something we need to worry about. We have 6 that are neutral against flying. That's interesting. Poison. 1 that's immune, again the Ferrothorn. We have 1 weak to ground, which, if I'm correct, that's the Arcanine, which isn't bad. That's not a bad thing. Oh, sorry. That's not a bad thing, but it's something to keep in mind. The rest are just neutral, so it should be all right. That's why I guess I have the Milotic for, to kind of stifle some of those ground and rock types, especially the Landorus, right? And the rest looks, pretty well balanced, especially here. Okay, the Fairy, 2 that are weak, 2 resistant, 2 neutral. Same with the rock here. But that should be pretty good. I mean, I only have like 1s here and here and here, so pretty much the most concern that I can put on this matter is the fighting type. So I need something against the fighting type, and I need the ground type, right? Or something against it, right? So that is something to be wary of. There we go. Okay, so then we got the type coverage, right? So that was type resistance. This is now type coverage. I usually call this type coverage and this move type coverage, but oh well. This is it's technically called type resistance, and now we're going to go to type coverage. So this is the type of moves that we have, and whether they're physical, whether they're special, whether they're stab, whether they're non-stab. So, for instance, this normal non-stab physical move Well, I only have one of those, and that would be fake out. Yeah, that's fake out right there. And then this ground stab physical. Well, that's earthquake, of course, on my guard chomp. This fairy stab special. Well, that's the hyper voice from my pixelated Gardevoir, right? So this this kind of gives a pretty good idea of what kind of moves you have. However, it doesn't actually show what kind of coverage you have on your opponents, right? What kind of damage it does. So I made this chart. Now it might be a little bit confusing, but hang with me here. So let's say I actually, yeah, let's go here. You got the ground type, right? We had the stab physical ground type, which is of course the earthquake, right? So I have the ground type as a move, right? So that means in this particular graph, I can start drawing arrows from the right side of the ground icon to the left side of whatever's weak to ground, right? So, for instance, this arrow goes from the left side of ground, which means the move is a ground type and it's going to fire and it's super effective, right? So this means that fire is weak against ground. This one right here means that steel is weak to ground. This one means that electric is weak to ground, and this one means that rock is weak to ground, and this means that poison is weak to ground, right? And that you kind of just do that for all these moves that you have in here, right? All these moves and types of moves, right? You put those into here, and you kind of see, okay, what is left, right? And eventually you kind of get this graph, and you have to notice a couple of things. First of all, I have nothing super effective against Psychic, right? Which is, I mean, it's not too problematic. There aren't a lot of solely Psychic types out there, probably because of the fact that Dark and Ghost are actually quite popular, and Psychic is weak to both Dark and Ghost, while Psychic is only kind of there to kind of stifle poison and fighting. So in other words, it's not the greatest type. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good Psychic types out there. For instance, you have the Cresselia, and Cresselia is a very good Psychic type, so that is to be noted. But even so, it is something to note that I don't actually have anything against the Psychic types, and I might actually need to put something in there, right? Now, I have plenty that are super effective against ground. That would be grass, that would be water, and that would be ice. I only have one against poison, so that's something to be noticed. I have 4 that are super effective against rock, right? Normal, I have nothing against. The only thing that's super effective against normal is fighting type. So I need a good fighting type move in there, or at least it's probably a good idea. So Psychic, Poison, Normal, Electric, I only have one, but that's because Electric only has one weakness, and that's ground type. So that's well covered. Let's see, Steel, I have 2, that's not bad. Ice, I have 3. Ghost, I have none, so that's pretty, that's noteworthy. Dragon, I have 3, which is the fairy, the ice, and the dragon itself. You got the flying type, nothing. Yeah, okay, so I don't have a flying type because there's no arrows coming from the right side, but there are 3 arrows coming in from the left side, meaning that this particular flying, that this type is weak to 3 different types of moves. Let me see, I have 2 against water, I have 3 against fire, I have 2 against grass, a little hard to see, but I have 2 against grass, 2 against bug, 1 against fighting, and 1 against dark. So there's a couple of moves that I still need to get a little bit more coverage with. And then we're gonna pull this one up, right? So these are this is pretty much a quick way of looking at my team. Yeah, sure, okay, I have Pokemon Showdown, but I don't know, with a lot of these colors and images and things like that, maybe it's a little bit easier to compress it, see what happens, right? Okay, so I got the Mega Gardevoir, Weavile, Garchomp, Arcanine, Milotic, Ferrothorn. First of all, I don't have any priority moves, right? I don't have a lot of really good hard-hitting priority moves, like, I don't know, Gale Wings, Brave Bird. I have no extreme speed, things like that. So, I might need to change that around. It might not be necessary, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so we have nothing super effective against Psychic, Ghost, or Normal types. Now, if we can actually put a Dark type in there, that means we could take care of Ghost and the Psychic type, which is nice. And then this Normal type, yeah, okay, well, the Fighting type would work well against the Normal and the Dark, right? However, it wouldn't do much against the Psychic, it wouldn't do anything against the Ghost. I'm not quite sure what Fighting does against Fighting. Maybe it just doesn't do anything. And then you get the Poison type, which I'm pretty sure is resistant to Fighting. So, I mean, I'd like to put a Fighting type in there, but let's first actually focus on getting some of these guys covered before we do anything else, right? Now, the way I'm actually going to do that is I'm actually first going to look at, you know, these particular Pokemon and see what actually I can do. Now, my eye automatically falls on this guy, right, Dastan. Originally, I had a Protect in here, then I kind of went for the Feint, right? Feint is actually quite good. It nullifies Detect, Protect, Quick Attack, or Quick Guard, there you go. Quick Guard, Wide Guard, any of these particular moves that actually, how would I say this? They destroy a lot of these protection moves, right? Which could be very good with my Sylvia, right? Or with Fury or Firecracker or anything like that, right? However, then I want to put the knockoff in here because it's a dark move. It's physical. It works well, and it works well with Dastan as well because it has the Pickpocket Focus Sash combo. So if it's hit with, I don't know, a Mach Punch or something, it's going to survive, then take whatever the Mach Puncher or whatever has on his belongings, right? And then I can use the knockoff to maybe knock off the other guy's item or something like that, right? He's fast enough to do that. In other words, it might be a little bit more handy to put knockoff on my Dastan. I just kind of need to remember that it's there. But alright. Okay, so then we got the Bossatronio, which doesn't really know a lot of dark moves. Sylvia, I don't really want to put a dark move on that. Anyway, I need the Calm Mind, I want the Hyper Voice, Protect I need, and the Energy Ball, I think it's just a nice surprise. Fury, I guess I could maybe put a dark type on there. Let's see what kind of dark type it has. It has Crunch, which is not bad actually. But then I kind of need to get rid of either Rock Slide, Earthquake, Outrage, or Iron Head. And I'd rather not get rid of Outrage. Yeah, okay, it doesn't do much, but it does do considerable damage against Dragon types, which is probably just going to be a 1-hit KO, and with other Pokemon, it's just a very powerful stab move to have in there, which would mean that, well, I'm not going to get rid of my Earthquake. Rock Slide would be a good, it would be a candidate, Iron Head as well, but again, then I don't have anything against the fairy types that walk around, and I don't have anything to take care of any of those Talonflames. So, Firecracker, I think it actually does no Crunch. Okay, yes, it does actually no Crunch. That is interesting to know. And I will get back to Arcanine. I'll get back to Firecracker, but I will see. That is actually an interesting idea to have, actually putting Crunch on Firecracker. But alright. And Cyrene, I'm just not going to give a dark move to. Well, I don't know. Maybe, does it actually know Dark Pulse? It only has Hidden Power Dark. Okay. So, bad idea to put it on the Cyrene, right? Okay, so, let's see. Yeah, okay. So, that's something worth noting. So, now that we actually put a Dark type in there, only one, but we put one in there. I'm going to switch this one to the knockoff. Handy to have. Very handy. And let's see what else we have. So then we might actually want a good fighting type in there. There we go. There's a lot of tabs, so I'm like, okay, which one is it? Which one is it? Okay, so fighting types. Now, this is probably a good time to actually go into Arcanine, right? Now, I've been battling a lot with this team lately, off camera, but I have. And these particular Pokemon, it's a very good team, to be quite honest. However, there are limits, I suppose, right? I mean, let's look at the Firecracker for a sec, right? I gave it a pretty balanced layout in how its EVs are spread. It's probably a bad mix, but we'll see what happens. You got the HP, which is 90. That's not bad, actually. Attack, 110. Okay. Special attack, 100. Okay. Defense is 80. Special defense is 80. Yeah, okay. It's doable. And speed is 95. Okay. Not bad. So, in other words, it's not a pseudo-legendary, right? It doesn't have 130 attack or 102 speed or, 125 special attack or something like that. I have seen better stats. I mean, it's a little bit more well-rounded, I suppose, but I guess that makes it more of a meh Pokemon, It's a meh. And I know a lot of people do like Arcanine, right? And it is a very good support Pokemon. It has Intimidate, it has Helping Hand, Will-O-Wisp. Apparently it has Snarl as well. But it has a couple of good moves, a couple of very good moves actually. So I want to actually use this one to the maximum potential. But its EVs are a little lacking, right? Which I did maybe think of oh, no, not that one. Back up. Comparing it to a Talonflame, and I know Talonflame is used a lot, but a Talonflame can actually be used as a support Pokemon as well. Will-O-Wisp, you can have a Tailwind in there, which is priority. Let's see, Tailwind, yeah, okay, which is priority, of course, because of Gale Wings. You can have the Flare Blitz, which is a powerful Fire-type attack, also very fast, unless, of course, it's in a Trick Room, then just kind of keep spamming the Brave Bird. You give it a Life Orb, or you give it, I don't know, you give it a Choice Band or something like that, right? And it just, it works quite well with that. It's very fast. It is, however, a little bit more of a suicide Pokemon, right? Firecracker is a little bit less suicidal, and it has, I think, a bigger move pool. So it really depends on what you want. Do you want the bigger move pool and a little bit well-rounded, or do you want the, head first dive in at your opponent and see what happens, and then kind of have this guy die quite quickly, right? So I don't know. I'm not done analyzing this. I'm probably gonna leave it here because it's gotten kind of long, but. I am thinking about changing Firecracker around a little bit, maybe making it a little more offensive, which would be interesting. I'm probably thinking about a fire move, close combat, maybe extreme speed, crunch, snarl, things like that. We'll see what happens. So I'm gonna definitely look around a little bit more and see what I can do, and I'm gonna use a Smogon as well. Give some pretty good advice on how to use the dog that is Arcanine, right? So I'm gonna see what I can do with that, right? But anyway, I'm gonna leave this episode here because otherwise it's gonna get a little long, and you don't want to do that, right? So thank you all so much for watching. If you like this episode, then like, subscribe, share with a friend or anything like that. I would really appreciate it if you did. And it is appreciated. I appreciate anything that you guys are willing to do. Now, do I have anything else to report? Yes, actually I do. This week, probably somewhere Friday, Saturday, something like that, I'll actually be giving a special episode about the layout of the new champions team in VGC, as in the let me see, the 23rd of August, if I'm correct, there was the finals for Masters Division VGC, for the World Championship, which was really cool. And I did actually see it. It was a three-round battle, which was awesome, or at least it was a set of 3 battles, not a 3-round battle, because that's different. It was a set of 3 battles, so you got to see, the complete and you got to see a really nice battling between 2 absolute masters. And I'm gonna give a lowdown of how they put their team together. I'm going to try to get as much information as possible. EVs might be a little hard to come by, but we'll see what happens. And I'll also give a laydown of the champion's former opponent and kind of see what his team was like. And I'm just going to kind of I'm gonna do a little bit of an analysis on that to see what all that was about, right? So that's gonna be fun. Probably expect that somewhere later in the week, Friday, Saturday, something like that. I don't know. I'll see what happens, right? Other than that, I don't really have much else to report. No, I don't think so. So this is John Fillmore signing off and wishing everyone on the opposite side of the screen a very pleasant day. Goodbye!